So, two important things with this guest. First off, know your niche. I think we've said that before, as far as really hone in on your niche and who you're actually servicing. But also, you're going to love her story about the oak tree. So, let's check it out.
Building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Welcome, Giant Builders. I am so happy to have you here today. Today's guest is Donna Meyer. Hi, Donna. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Great. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, I'm from South Jersey, and I'm a business growth strategist, and I help spiritual entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers to build a seven-figure business because they're fed up with inconsistent cash flow and being the best kept secret and not making the impact that they want.
Yeah, I think that's probably a common trend for locally owned businesses, whether they're coaches or whatever, is just being a best kept secret.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I help uh, my clients to create more visibility and to amplify their online presence and to create that seven-figure business so they don't have that inconsistent up and down roller coaster income every month.
Where do you think are some areas that people should be more active in as a business
The
owner?
first thing to do is to really identify and know your niche audience. So, like I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and she was all over the planet, because she is a healer and she can work with everybody. But if you throw a net out that wide, you won't talk to anybody. So you have to niche it down and make sure that you're talking to the audience that you want to talk to. And once you do that, they'll find you because that will show up in your messaging.
Ah. And so what tools do you help them find those niches?
Well, I have a program called Chaos to Profit. I have my superpower is that I'm tech savvy. I used to be a programmer. So
Oh, okay.
I'm like a tech geek. So even for me, the technology that's happening right now is it's going so fast.
Mm.
You can barely keep up with it. So I have it's a three-prong program. And the first prong is one I'm very passionate about is messaging, your magnetic messaging, making sure that's really clear on who you want to work with and how you work with them. And then the next part is the marketing part. It's to develop a marketing plan that aligns with their authenticity. I'm not very good with that word.
It's a hard word. I'm glad you guys said it and I didn't have to say it.
Because this is not a one size fits all. So that's one of the problems I think that I see with my clients is that there's so much coming on the market today, and it's like, oh, I'll try this. Oh, I'll try that. And then I always liken it to years ago, and you might have seen these on TV, where the guy has the plate spinning on the pole
Yeah.
and he's running from plate to plate, trying to keep them all spinning. And that is the wrong marketing plan. So you have to know your niche and you have to know where to find them. Where do they hang out? And a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs hang out on either Instagram or Facebook. They're not so much big on LinkedIn, but they are there, but you want to focus your energies on the platforms,
Mhm.
even if you don't like them. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook, but if that's where your clients are, that's where you got to go.
Yeah, you're like throwing darts at balloons when you're just like doing it all of them and not really honed in on something.
Yeah, I think that, spiritual entrepreneur coaches, you'll find more coaches, transformation coaches, life coaches. They will be more on LinkedIn. But the best thing to do is research. And one of the first things I do when I work with my clients is that we do research. You know, who is their niche? You know, and a lot of people say, well, I can work with everybody. And a lot of them can. If you're a spiritual entrepreneur, you can work with everybody.
Mhm.
But who do you love to work with? Who really, I know years ago when I first started out, and I've been, coaching for 20 years now, in different capacities, but one of the things that they gave us was this long list of, what your client should look like, all the way down to what shoes they wore and what their age was. Well, we've finally done away with that because that was like, it was like it was like, I would say sometimes like 50 questions, and by the time you're done, you still don't know what your client is because all you know is what they wear.
You have to go hang out at a shoe store to find them.
Yeah, right. What they wear, how they dress, what kind of money they have, are they married, not married, and that's all good to know. But some of those questions are ridiculous to ask, and so anyway, so you research and you find out, whether their likes and dislikes is what you really want to know.
Mhm.
What really inspires them, what are their pain points. And so that's where Chat GPT or one of the other GPTs or AI tools can help, because you can research really well who your niche is and what they do and how it inspires them. And once you know that, then you know where to find them.
So what does the first meeting look like with you?
The first meeting I do, I usually do a chat with someone to see if we're a good fit. If they're looking to build a seven-figure business. I mean, I've had some people say, I don't want to build a seven-figure business. And that's good. I have smaller programs that just like 3-month and 6-month programs. But if you want to build a seven-figure, sustainable, thriving business, and I help you set the systems up, it's soup to nuts in 2 years or less, guaranteed. So I have a risk reversal. I don't get paid unless you're making, the different, if we're reaching the different milestones.
Mhm.
So our first meeting is really just a kickoff, like, can we work together? Do we like each other? And that's the most important part, because I'm in the trenches with my clients. And so if I bother you, then it's probably not a good fit. And vice versa. I mean, I've had some people, I remember one gentleman, and he was very cantankerous. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to work with you. Nice
Being from New
guy.
Jersey, you probably said it that way too.
Yeah, I just, yeah, it just didn't, it wasn't a feel. You feel
Yeah,
it, you know.
yeah.
And that's why I generally have like a 20 minutes or half hour chat. Where are they? Where are they going? Where they want to go? And if
Mhm.
it's a really good fit, then I invite them to a longer call, and then we go through the strategies, and is my program a good fit for them? And then after that, when we first start working together, we have a VIP day or an onboarding day for half a day of getting everything we need, all the assets together. Where are they with their technology? What do we need to tweak? What is their offer? What do they want to offer people? So that's pretty much the flow of
Mhm.
how it goes.
Yeah, it seems like the systems are the hardest part of running a business is just making sure everything's in a line to make things more simple for yourself.
Absolutely. And I have found that, you know, again, people who are inexperienced with technology and they see an offer, of a CRM or whatever, and they immediately buy into it, and 3 months later they're paying a couple $100s a month for a CRM for and they only have 50 people on their email list, so, you know, these are the things I look at, and that, or they get afraid that if they don't get the big CRM or pay this kind of money, they won't be able to grow. But people don't realize that nothing's written in stone. So you can always move your email list to another CRM when you get bigger and better at what you do. So it's those, and I think they're big obstacles for people who are not tech savvy. What do I use? What do I need to get going here? One of the things that I work with my clients, I have a signature talk called Rooted to Rise. And the reason that came about was because about maybe 3 years ago, I started with some health problems. And I didn't expect health problems. I was the one that never took pills. It's like I was lucky to take a vitamin. And so when it started, they first thought it was bronchitis, and not to get into the weeds of the whole thing, but it turned out I woke up one morning, couldn't breathe, and turned out I had heart failure. So
Oh,
nobody bothered to check my heart through 6 months of not feeling well. I'm not sure why, but they didn't. And here I had severe heart failure. And I ended up in the hospital for 3 weeks, a triple bypass. And it was a really long recovery for me. And I'm an impatient person to begin with, and it just took me down. It really did. And then there was a series of anybody's on the call or on this show has ever experienced anything like that. It seems like you start to feel better, then all of a sudden you're down again. It's another health setback and another health setback. And it went on for like 2.5 years. I finally went to my doctor and I said, am I dying here and nobody's telling me? And he goes, no, 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 we just got to adjust things and whatnot. So anyway, I developed a talk called Rooted to Rise. And what that is about is that, and I'll tell you this short story.
okay.
Uh, my uncle planted this little sapling oak tree they had a half an acre. And he was so proud of this little sapling that he immediately forgot it was there and mowed it over.
Oh, oh
And he
no.
didn't mow it over once, he mowed it over a couple times. But the following year, that little oak tree came up and it started to grow. And today it's a mighty oak tree. In fact, 35 years ago, my husband and I got married under that oak tree. So it's almost 60 years old, that oak tree. So, but what I learned, for some reason, that was a metaphor for me, because oak trees grow their roots deep before they shed, before you can see their leaves, and it grows out of the ground. So I always feel like that was very symbolic for me, because I was growing deep at that time, but in visibility, I wasn't there. So, and so I've done a lot of talks around that, the mighty oak tree. And if anybody's here has suffered like setbacks, and I've had some serious business setbacks too, that you are the mighty oak tree. And as long as you stay grounded in your why, you'll rise.
Oh, that's an amazing story. I love that story. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad to share it. I think that there are more people than not that get discouraged and quit, and it's easy to get discouraged when you're not feeling well. It's very easy to get discouraged, and you just feel like no matter what you do, you just can't seem to get back on your feet. And but that always made me feel like that I was rooted. My why is what kept me going. That God was calling me to do something, and this was just his way of testing me. Now, I don't know if everybody believes that, but I did, but it was enough to keep me getting up, over and over again until I became the mighty oak tree again.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, giant builders, when you get mowed down, know your roots are deep in there and that you can rise up again.
Yes, that
Yes.
it's the roots that really sustain, the oak trees. And if you ever notice, it's even in the Bible, for anyone that's biblical, that God talks about the mighty oak tree and the fact that it withstands the wind,
Mhm.
and even people have tried to chop them down, but they come back and they grow again. If you don't take the stump out, it'll regrow. It'll keep growing because it's the roots that sustain it. And so your why is your roots. And as long as you have those and you don't quit, your roots won't quit on you.
Yeah, that's a great, such a great way to end the story. Well, Donna, thank you so much. I'm going to have your contact information below. So, if there's any listeners who are or know of any of these types of coaches, please let them know that Donna is here and helping and just willing to get them moving and into that profitable stage.
Well, thank you very much, Lois, for having me here. I appreciate you having me here, and I love what you're doing. I think any time that we can help people in any way,
Hmm.
it's a wonderful thing. So I'm glad you're doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. All right, you giant builders who are oak trees, we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.